this is an early review of the Fanatec Clubsport DD. What makes it an early review is the fact that Fullforce, one of its unique selling points, isn't actually implemented into anything yet. Not at time of recording, so I can't test it. If I can't test it, I can't review it. So we're going to wait until Fullforce comes out and we can actually properly use it before I release what I would consider a full review. But there's still a lot that I can cover without Fullforce, so we might as well take a look at it, answer a few questions, see how it stacks up, and just see how it is. First up, a little notice. Watch the entire video first before making this choice, but if you do want to buy a Clubsport DD or anything else you see in this video, like this lovely turn racing wheel or the Pro Sim Rig Cockpit I'm using here, then using the links in the description to do so helps support my channel, and thank you. The Clubsport DD is a 12Nm wheelbase with PC and Xbox compatibility. No PlayStation compatibility for this one. There's a little more to it than just the overall power figure, but a direct drive 12Nm base is what I consider the minimum complete level for force feedback, where it's powerful enough to be detailed and informative, but also strong and exciting. Anything below it can leave you wanting more given enough time. Anything above it is just cherries on top for hardcore enthusiasts. If you're considering the Clubsport DD, then maybe you've got a CSL DD right now, or an older Fanatec base with a collection of wheels and rims in the Fanatec bubble. It represents the new step up for you. I'll cut straight to the chase. The feedback provided by the Clubsport DD, or CSDD, is exactly what I would expect from a 12Nm base, no more and no less. It's strong, punchy and brutish, very enjoyable, absolutely suitable for the serious enthusiast, and well matched to almost all fully grown adults. So imagine for a second someone is trying out a sim racing rig for the very first time. A 5Nm base might not leave a lasting impression on your mate Dave the builder, an 8Nm most likely will, but a 12Nm base definitely will. I've been using mine with this 320mm wheel from Turn Racing, and I'm happy that this full size wheel is not causing the CSDD to sweat at all. I still have room to turn up the strength for a heavier, weightier feel, and the feedback response doesn't feel muted by the size. That's quite important. 12Nm is enough to drive almost all wheels well, regardless of weight and size. If you have an 8Nm CSL DD or Clubsport 2.5 wheelbase right now, the extra power will be very much appreciated. It provides that missing piece of top-end grunt that helps suspend your disbelief. It's genuinely strong enough to always be a threat to your grip on the wheel, and you can almost visualize all those imaginary suspension arms and tie rods crashing and straining as you go. Driving as fast as you can with the knowledge that getting it wrong means fighting legitimately brutish controls does add to the excitement factor. It makes for a better portrayal that the on-screen car you're driving really does exist. If you are using a 5Nm CSL DD or a CSL Elite, then there's no question at all. The difference in experience and enjoyment between these two power grades is incomparable. Moving from 5 to 8Nm is a massive step in itself. Moving from 5 to 12 will leave you glued to your cockpit for days, I guarantee you. 12Nm is when it starts to feel a bit scary. That's when you really feel like the car could rip itself from underneath you at any time. Judders and knocks become really sharp, and you start to fear the horrible knobbly tracks with sharp curbs and rough surfaces like Alton Park in the cars that are the most raw, like the LMP3 that I'm driving here. It's just, I can't even imagine doing a long stint on this track in this car. It would start to really grind you down, but that's what we're all here for, aren't we? A thrill, an immersive experience that just makes you think, this is awesome. I've reviewed and used the Moza R12, also a 12Nm base, and the overall force feedback experience is similar, and in fairness I wouldn't expect them to vary too much. I would say that whilst the R12 can be slightly sharper and more freely tunable, the Clubsport DD does feel cleaner, tighter and more resilient somehow. The CSDD, along with all Fanatec bases in my opinion, currently have slightly oversimplified feedback tuning options that leave me feeling like there are more things that could be tweaked behind the scenes if only we were given the choice by the software. I've got quite strong conviction that this is a firmware and software limitation right now, and there could be more to come from the CSDD, but that's pure speculation on my part. If that turns out to be true, then it's a little disappointing that it's taken a while for that update to arrive, and if that turns out to be false, then it's just a little disappointing. This is where Fullforce might have come in and added something significant to the equation, but it's still yet to be implemented anywhere. I can't find any official information as to what games are going to implement it or when. I'm confident the usual mainstream suspects such as iRacing, ACC and so on will incorporate it, and I'm sure it's not too far away, but I am actually a little disappointed that there's not more clarity on this yet. Boosted Media has given Fullforce a test via a pre-release development demo on his review video, but only a full public release of Fullforce, aka as the customer would use it, can really enable a full review. It's been touted as a significant unique selling point, but it's still not here. As such, don't make Fullforce a major factor in your decision until it's been tested and reviewed. The CSDD itself is chunky, but not large. It's a compact thing but has a lot of heft packed within. If you've got one of these, it might well take top spot as the densest / heaviest object in the house, unless you have a Sports Direct mug. Just like the CSL DD and GT DD Pro, mounting is achieved either by using the side rails or the underside rails in conjunction with the supplied T-nuts, making it pretty much universally mountable to just about any setup. No real surprises or things of note. Fanatec bases are very high up in the mountability index because they've been around for so long. No kooky adapters or mounting plates necessary. Now this is the first Fanatec base also that has QR2 natively installed from fresh, and it's everything we hoped it would be and expected it to be considering how long we waited. It's very solid, quick, easy, super duper simple. So Fanatec has gone from having one of the worst quick release systems out there to now one of the best. Thank God for that. So the big question, how long did this take to arrive? It spent about 2 weeks getting from Fanatec to my door, from the 24th of November to the 7th of December. Unfortunately, that seems to be pretty swift. If you weren't aware by now, Fanatec has had a terrible time with delivery delays and overdue shipments, particularly from the Black Friday period and beyond, which still continue to this day for some, and so there's a lot of heat on them at the moment. The long and short of it is that if you order from Fanatec right now, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. You might be slapped with a long wait. Take one look at any Fanatec social media post on Instagram, YouTube, etc. and you'll get a pretty good picture of things, and I believe them because my last 2 orders prior to the CSDD took a month to arrive. It used to take a week. Let's face it, Fanatec was never an industry leader for customer experience, but this is worse than I've seen it in the past 4 years. And the worst part of it is that it's a failure of the soft services, the people side of things, not the equipment itself, which is actually fine. Even if they waved a magic wand and fixed all these problems today, the scars from such a bad buying experience have burnt bridges with a lot of people, and justifiably so. So the next question, does mine work okay? Any problems? Well, as a matter of fact, my Clubsport DD has an issue for which I'm sending it in for repair under warranty, and that's coil whine. Reportedly doesn't affect feedback or operation, but is nonetheless not normal and will be rectified to preserve resale value, as is my prerogative. Coil whine means whenever my Clubsport DD is switched on, there's a quiet but high-pitched noise emanating from the base. Doesn't affect anything at all when driving, it's only audible when the room is quiet, but even so, it is considered a defect and therefore I want it fixed. This only seems to be affecting a portion of early batches of Clubsport DDs, according to information online, but my full review will be waiting for when it's been fixed and is back in my hands with no coil whine. I've done an RMA process before with Fanatec earlier in 2023, which took a couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see how this one goes, and obviously I'll report back in the pinned comment. So with a full review somewhere along the horizon, let's sum things up for now. Clubsport DD, it's a strong, adult grade wheelbase. I've enjoyed using it these past couple of months, definitely much prefer it to the CSL DD due to the extra immersion and fun factor, and it comfortably satisfies the brief of being the next logical step up. The new QR2 quick release is a very worthy upgrade, solving pretty much every problem the previous quick release had. If you're upgrading from an 8Nm CSL DD, you'll absolutely appreciate the big boost in power. If you're upgrading from a 5Nm CSL DD, it will knock your socks off. However, the lack of full force makes it impossible to judge how much it'll enhance the CSDD's experience, so choosing to buy one now makes you an early adopter, and it might turn out to be nothing to write home about in the end. I do feel a little bit shortchanged by the absence of this feature for the time being. Customer support seems to be overwhelmed right now. That's always been their biggest weakness, but it seems to be particularly slow as of late, so beware of that. If your order goes perfectly normal, as most do, then you won't care. But if it doesn't, then you could be experiencing firsthand Fanatec's worst character flaw at its most severe that I've ever seen it. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll be able to follow up with a full review sometime soon, but until then, cheers again.